This is VFL weekly wrap for round 12. Quick check on the results. Friday night saw Footscray beat up on Frankston by 17 points at Frankston Oval, 15-12 102 to 12-13 85. Footscray amassed 408 possessions. Frankston won the free kick count 25-14. Talk about home ground advantage. Now for Footscray, Riley Garcia, 39 possessions, 11 clearances. Jackson Voss, 38 possessions, 9 marks. Footscray lead Frankston 9-0 head-to-head. 8 of them at Frankston Oval. So once again, Frankston failing the test against a top team. Southport defeated Sandringham by 65 points at Moorabbin Oval. 16-14 110 to 6-9 45. The Sharks had 11 goal kickers. Jacob Dawson, 37 possessions, 8 clearances. Boyd Woodcock, 36 possessions, 12 clearances. Darcy Wilson for the Zebras, 32 possessions, 9 clearances. Hugh Boxall, 30 possessions, 12 tackles, 8 clearances. That will be the last game at Moorabbin for the year for Sandringham. Box Hill beat Coburg by 38 points at Coburg City Oval, 12-16 88 to 7-8 50. Joel Trudgeon for Coburg, he had 32 possessions, 11 tackles, 11 clearances and a goal. Box Hill have won the last 14 against Coburg. Coburg failing the test again. Saturday night at Northport Oval saw Casey knock off Essendon by 29 points, 17-10 112 to 12-11 83. Will Varell had 21 possessions, 44 hit-outs and 9 clearances. Casey have won their last 4. They're flying. Now Brisbane beat GWS by 85 points at Ipswich, 24-15 159 to 11-8 74. Will McLaughlin for Brisbane kicked 6 goals 3. GWS have lost 4 of their last 5. Also on Sunday, Carlton smashed the Northern Bull Ants by 86 points at Princess City Oval, 18-14 122 to 4-12 36. Carlton had 6 players that kicked multiple goals. Their ruckman Mark Pitane, 20 possessions, 10 clearances, 41 hit-outs. Carlton won the hit-outs 51 to 11. Carlton won 4 of the last 5. Another sad loss from the Northern Bull Ants. Like I said before, they're not winning a game. Now, I went to 2 games on the weekend. They were both on the same day. Now, the first one was at Chirnside Park between Werribee and Geelong. Well, Geelong got them by 2 points in the end. 11-15 81 to 12-7 79. Geelong 2 goals to 1 at quarter time. 3 goals each in the second quarter. Geelong wasted the third quarter. They kicked 3 goals 8 to 3 goals 1. Last quarter is when the game came to life. Werribee 5 goals 3 to 3 goals 1. For Werribee, Hudson Groney, he kicked 5 goals. Back in action. Jack Riding and Harry Maguire kicked 2 each. For Geelong, 3 plays kicked 2 goals. Ollie Henry, James Ballantyne and Kai Anand. The disposals, Don Brew, 22 possessions, 11 tackles, 8 clearances. Sam Conway, 19 possessions, 57 hit-outs. Hudson Groney took 8 marks, he kicked 5 goals 1. For Geelong, George Stevens has had a good year. 29 possessions, 11 clearances, 7 tackles. Jai Clark, 27 possessions, 8 clearances. Doyle Madigan laid 13 tackles for Geelong. Now Geelong, they dominated the inside 50s here, 58 to 34. Werribee took 35 more marks. The wind was blowing towards the highway end. I'd say it was worth 1 or 2 goals. Very cold day, bit windy. There was no rain, but it just made for an unattractive game at times. Geelong led as much as by 16 points at 3/4 time. They should have put Werribee away. They absolutely dominated the game, in my opinion, from what I saw. Werribee then kicked 3 goals in 4 minutes to take the lead, 19 minutes into the last quarter. And we thought, hello, Werribee's going to play half a quarter and do enough. Then Hudson Garoni had a shot. He missed an absolute sitter that would have put him 9 points up. And then John kicked the next 2 goals. That miss cost Werribee the game. He had a very good game. He kicked 5 Garoni. But that miss has bit him in the arse. It's cost him the game. But Geelong had so many opportunities to ice that game during the third quarter. And I must say, I don't care, I'm going to say it, the umpiring was absolutely horrendous. I just can't understand some of the decisions the umpires gave and the ones that they missed. Oh, I don't want to go on about it, but it was horrible and it was just evident by the crowd reaction. It was just ridiculous. Werribee gave up far too many cheap goals, turned the ball over so many times. The game style that they're playing is not working this year. It might have worked last year, but it's not working this year. Jimmy Allen needs to change something because this season has slipped away from them. I know they've lost a lot of players, but this game style is not working. It's not sustainable. It didn't work. Geelong were onto it and they caught him out. Mate, the game was at a poor standard for the first 3 quarters. And then, full credit to both teams, the last quarter opened up and it was very entertaining. Very exciting last quarter. Now, Werribee have lost 4 games at home. They've lost their last 3 at home. They are shot to bits. They've checked out. They're not making finals. I gave them one last chance. They failed. And they have lost 3 games by under a goal this year. The previous 2 years, they would have won those games. So obviously, there's no backbone back there. They're not hungry enough. Geelong, who haven't been in great form, seem to match up well on Werribee for some ridiculous reason. They caught Werribee napping, and I thought they deserved a win. It was a very good crowd there Saturday morning, early afternoon. And they saw an entertaining last quarter, but a scrappy first 3 quarters. Geelong have joined Werribee on 5 wins. Werribee, I think, a shot. Enough of that. Then I ventured down to Arden Street to watch the Port Melbourne, North Melbourne. And Port Melbourne got him. They got him by 23 points. 14-12-96 to 11-7-73. Port Melbourne just opened it up in the first quarter. 5 straight goals to 1 goal for at quarter time. North kicked 5 goals to 3 in the second. I think this is where the game was won. Port Melbourne kicked 4 goals to 1 in the third quarter. And the result was never in doubt. North kicked 4 goals to 2 in the last quarter, but it was too late. Now for Port Melbourne, Jimmy Miller, he kicked 4 goals. Now 3 players kicked 2 goals each. Tom Hurd, Charlie Clark and Ned Cale. For North Melbourne, Finbar Maley and Zane Dersma kicked 3 each. Braden George, he kicked 2. The possessions for Port Melbourne, Charlie Lazaro, 34 possessions, 7 tackles. Tom Hurd, 28 possessions, 2 goals. For North Melbourne, Matt Keast, he had 28 touches. Will Phillips, 26 possessions, 12 tackles. It was a high free kick count. Port Melbourne won the free kick count, 30-22. They had 13 more clearances as well. Now the wind was blowing towards the Arden Street end. Like I said, it was worth 1 or 2 goals. It wasn't too windy. The sun came out. It was very cold though. It was a 2 o'clock start, so towards the end of the third quarter, last quarter, it was just cold. It was just ridiculous. Now, Port Melbourne had too much run for them on a very big playing field at Arden Street. Very nice playing surface, very big, but I'm disappointed at Arden Street. There's no seats. There's absolutely nowhere to sit there. You just have to stand. The playing surface was good. The facilities inside their, their shop and toilets and all that was pretty good. Saw their Premiership Cups there, North Melbourne. Good facilities there. No seats around the ground. You need to put seats. Big ground, excellent playing surface. Anyway, now Port Melbourne are proving to be a Heckle Jekyll side. One week they're horrible, next week they beat one of the informed teams. So they are the hardest team to gauge right now, Port Melbourne. Now they were 38 points up early in the last quarter, so the game was pretty much done. Port took control when they kicked 4 goals in 7 minutes in the first quarter. Now, interestingly, the last time they met was in round 1, 2023, so it was 2.5 seasons ago, at Arden Street, and Port Melbourne got them by 20 points. I actually went to that game as well, so it's incredible. Now, Port Melbourne have won the last 4 games against North Melbourne. North Melbourne been disappointed with this loss because they were flying. Port Melbourne proving to be a very interesting team to play against. On their day, they can beat anyone, but on other days, they're absolutely pathetic. But today, this day, they were very good. All right, they're the games I went to. Now, the goal kickers, 4 players are tied on 33 goals. That's all that needs to be said. The ladder, I'll go through it. Box Hill, 36 points. Southport, 34. I'll tell you right now, they're the 2 best teams in it. If they don't play in the grand final, I'll be very surprised. They both should finish first and second, win their finals, and play in the grand final. I'm calling it now. I can't see anything changing that. The rest of the positions up for grabs. GWS, Footscray, Brisbane, Richmond, all 28. Casey, North Melbourne at 26. Williamstown, Collingwood at 24 in the top 10. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think that top 10 is set. I don't think anyone's going to sneak in. You got Coburg, Werribee, Carlton, Frankston, Geelong, 1 win behind on 20 points, but none of them have the capacity to put through 4 or 5 games and sneak in that top 10, because I don't see anyone from that top 10 dropping down. So I think it's done. Coburg have lost their last 2. Werribee just can't win at home. They're shot to bits. Carlton are on good form, but they're not good enough. Frankston are dropping. Geelong, they're not good enough. I don't care. I know they beat Werribee, but they're not good enough. Now, Port Melbourne, 18 points. They need a run of 5 or 6 wins in a row. I can't see them doing that because they're not consistent. The rest of the teams are rubbish. Essendon, 12. Gold Coast, 10. Sandringham, 6. Sandringham's only win was against Footscray, away. Sydney, they've only won 1 game. That was against Werribee. How did they beat Werribee? Bull Ants haven't won a game, they're not winning one. Now, the round 13 games, interesting games. There were 9 games. Mate, 7 of them were on Saturday. Geelong against Brisbane. Southport against Sydney. Mate, I expect a 100-point game there, to be honest. Collingwood, Sandringham. That's at Olympic Park. It's not at Victoria Park. The game I'm going to go to at Northport Oval, Port Melbourne against Coburg. That should be a very interesting game. The loser will be 100% done for the year. The winner will be alive. Williamstown, Werribee at Point Jellybrand. I was going to go, but I'm not going to go now. That's going to be a belting, I think. Carlton, North Melbourne. Frankston, Essendon under lights at TV game. 2 games on Sunday. GWS, Gold Coast at 9:30 a.m, which is ridiculous. Now, Footscray play Richmond at Docklands. That's before the AFL game. I'll try to get to that, but I don't know. 3 teams had to buy. Box Hill, Casey and the Bull Ants. Interesting week of football. We'll see you next week.